sensational butterfly queen. And for you who have been following me for a while, I thank you for continuing with me on this journey of being a YouTuber and coming out here and sharing my story. Oh my Lord. Oh, the joys and pains of living in New York City. But yeah, thank you for coming out here and joining me on my journey of transparency, faith, recovery, my writing journey, everything. For Vlogmas, I said that I was going to talk more about recovering from people pleasing, because I think that's where I want my channel to head, because I've gone through so much in my life dealing with people pleasing, and I think I can help someone else out there who also struggles from being a people pleaser, and help those of us who are on the recovery part of people pleasing. Um, but yeah, I think for me, people pleasing started in my early childhood, and it was modeled for me from various family members, and I also picked up my own people pleasing tendencies along the way. So for me, people pleasing started because I felt rejected within my family, my immediate family and my extended family. I felt like, as to say, I didn't fit in there. So therefore, I picked up the habit of trying to please everyone around me, so that way I don't feel that rejection, right? Um, and I also picked up people pleasing from family members who I saw modeling people pleasing, meaning that they were they were also people pleasers themselves, right? Growing up, I didn't feel like I fit into my family construct, and therefore I wanted to fit in. You know, everybody wants to fit into where they're with their family, with their friends, with the community. And so because I didn't feel like I fit in there, I developed all these different people pleasing habits. I also was told that I was an ugly child from, you know, from very small. My great grandmother lived in within the home with myself and my parents, and she told me that I was ugly. So therefore, I believed I was ugly, because that's an authority figure. That's your grandma who's supposed to love you, and if she's telling you that you're ugly, and she's telling you that you're evil and all these different things, you tend to believe what the people around you are saying about you, especially if you are a child. And therefore, you grow up with this idea that, hey, I'm supposed to please everyone around me, so that way I don't feel that hurt on the inside. I don't feel that rejection. I grew up with shame, and that is another reason why a lot of times people please. They're trying to cover up that shame. They don't want anyone to know they are dealing with certain things, and so they try to please everyone around them, and they try to fit in the box that people put them into, right? But people pleasing is very dangerous. If you do not get away from people pleasing, come out and start the recovery process of people pleasing, you're gonna end up in a very dangerous situation, because you're gonna attract people around you who are manipulators, um, and very narcissistic. And I've dealt with that in my younger years, in my early 20s, 30s. I've dwelt with people who are very narcissistic. They gaslight you, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. It is crazy. So therefore, you need to walk away from people pleasing. Tell yourself the truth that, hey, I'm a people pleaser, and I don't want to be a people pleaser. From 2023 onward until the day I die, I don't want to please be a people pleaser anymore, because it means your life is not your own. You're constantly exhausted. You suffer from anxiety. This was me. I suffered from anxiety, panic attacks, shame, guilt, fear. You list all the negative emotions and feelings that you can find. I think I can find my name attached there. Resentment, bitterness, envy, jealousy. All the things. Low self-esteem. I lack confidence. I just didn't have the voice to really speak out and say what I wanted to say. So therefore, I'm telling you, walking away from people pleasing is gonna be one of the best things that you ever do in your life. But when you walk away, start to walk away from people pleasing and start to tell others no. Be prepared for the backlash, because there will be backlash. Your people are going to start to assassinate your character. They're going to say all sort of negative things about you to try to get others to not see you in a good light. I went through this, and I went through this pretty recently. Um, Walking away from people and not doing the things that they expect me to do, right? There's a thing in the Amish community where they call it shunning. This is basically where the community will isolate one person because that one person went away from what the community did. And because that person went away from what the community did, the whole entire community isolates that one person. Now, put yourself in that person's shoe, right? Where you're a part of a community, you're part of a very loving community. And because you're a part of that loving community and you make one mistake, somebody decides to say, put you, blackball you, as they say nowadays, they blackball you, right? When that entire community blackballs you feels it. It drains your energy. And that's a form of control. They're trying to punish that person to get them back into alignment with their values and their way of thinking. And this is what narcissistic people do. When the people pleaser wakes up and walks away from them, they try to blackball you and make it seem as if to say you are the bad person, you are the bad apple, right? And therefore they are trying to manipulate you to control you back into their clutches again. And when they see that is not happening, then they apply even more pressure. They start to scandalize your name, and you have to stand up to that. Don't defend yourself. Just stand up to it. Allow your character to speak for itself. 99% of the time, you are gonna come out on the other end of it. Yes, you're gonna feel that pain and that emotional hurt on the inside. You're gonna have anxious thoughts in your mind. These are the things that can happen to you, but at the same time, it's a benefit for you if you can walk away. If you can walk away from the situation and stand your ground, right? So here are some signs. This is what the Cambridge Dictionary says people pleasing is. A people pleaser is someone who cares a lot about what others thinks about him and always live for approval. This is validation. We always want others to validate us, right? It's a good thing sometimes, but if you don't have your own thought and your own frame of mind, when you constantly seek that validation, it means that you're gonna become stuck. You're never gonna move forward with your life because you're seeking that approval from others, and others are not gonna approve you. Majority of the time, they're not gonna approve you. They're not gonna approve of the things that you're doing, especially if it goes against something that they want you to do, because they want to keep you in their own perfect little box, and you're just trying to step out of it. You don't expect validation from those people. It's not gonna come. Your validation should come from God. As a believer and in Christ, that's who I believe. That's where my validation comes from. The Bible tells me that I am already accepted and that I'm already loved. So on the days where I feel as if to say no one cares, I'm seeking that validation from others, I have to remind myself that, God is my validator. He has already called me accepted. He has already called me love. And that's enough for me. And that should be enough for you. Well, if you're not a believer, it's going to be hard for you to believe those things, right? So in those times, you have to stand up and face the truth. You're gonna have to get affirmation, words of affirmation for yourself, and tell yourself those truths about yourself. Tell yourself all the good things about yourself. If you get as much affirmation words that you can, and you stick them on your wall, you stick them on your mirrors, you put them as your phone screen saver to remind yourself of how good you are of a person, right? You have trouble saying no. When you have trouble saying no, it means that you're always putting the needs of others above yourself. You sugarcoat things. You don't want to tell people the truth because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, and therefore you don't tell them the whole truth. You become a flatterer, right? You're overly apologetic. You're always apologizing for stuff like the simplest little thing. You be like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, 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 and it's not helping the situation any, right? If that's something that is not your fault, don't apologize. Don't apologize. If it's not your fault, do not be overly apologetic. You fear rejection. Oh my Lord, I talked about this. Yes, we all fear rejection, but rejection, unfortunately, is a part of our life's journey. We're gonna get rejection sometimes. We're gonna get rejection from the job, rejection from the college, rejection from a potential spouse, rejection from friends. We're gonna face rejection, right? And because we're gonna face rejection, you're gonna have to learn how to get what we call in the Caribbean a thick backbone, a thick skin to handle rejection. You develop anxiety and panic attacks. I get this a lot. Like in the past, I used to suffer so much panic attack. Like doing this YouTube live would have never, never, never been a thing. I would have never seen myself coming on YouTube, um, putting up a video, much less doing a live on YouTube. No. even now sometimes I have this like a slight stuttering issue, but um I've learned to look past that stuttering issue that I developed because of having panic attacks, right? I've learned to look past it and still show up as myself, my authentic self. And that's what we need to be as human beings, is to show up in our authentic self. When even though you are nervous, still show up. Even though you may not be the most articulate speaker in the world, still show up. The more you show up for the self, for yourself, it is the more that you're gonna walk away from that web of people pleasing. Because in people pleasing, we lost a part of ourselves. We lost that essence that made us who we are as people, right? And because we lost so much being people pleasers, it's gonna take us a while to gather back all those little pieces from wherever they're fallen. It's gonna take us a while to gather back those people pieces. It's gonna take us a while to gather back all those pieces, but it's worth it. And it's, you know, even though it's tiring at times to be doing the same thing over and over, it's gonna be worth it in the end. Today I put up a short on YouTube about losing the good things, losing the good things when you're on your healing journey. Sometimes the dead things on the insides of us fall away, and when those dead things falls away, sometimes it takes with it the good things, and we can see it as a negative, but it's not really a negative if you don't look at it that way, right? Because sometimes you have to lose the good things in order to remove that debris. So if you want that debris of people pleasing to be removed from your life, you have to be willing to lose some good things along the way. If we don't walk away from people pleasing, we become resentful, and we become bitter, and we become angry. I can tell you about anger as well. Like, man, I'm telling you, there was so much rage on the inside of me. Like, if you cross my path, you, it was like you're getting a volcano. That's how much anger I had on the inside of it. And the anger wasn't directed at the people who were I'm trying to please. The anger was directed at the innocent people who had nothing to do. But then I learned about it, right? The way how I learned that I was a people pleaser was in a psychology class. Believe it or not, I was working in a daycare, and for the daycare, I had to take um, these different certificates, and a psychology class was a part of the as was a part of getting that certificate. And that's where I start learning about my how the mind work and how the mind process things. And that's why I figured out, for most of my 26 years of life, I basically was a people pleaser. And that's how I started the journey of recovering from people pleasing. And has taken me a long while to get to this point where I can even talk about it, admit it, and to say that I was a people pleaser. It has taken me a long time. And so, on your journey of people pleasing, of recovering from people pleasing, it's gonna take a process. It's gonna take a lengthy process. It's gonna take you a while to stand up to others and to tell them no. It's gonna take you having the courage and the backbone to say no. Say no. It's a two little word, but trust me, for people pleasers, it's the hardest thing to say the word no. And for the people in our lives who constantly take advantage, they don't want to hear the word no either. But you have to train those people who hear the word no. We are not superhuman beings. You're not Superman. And the last time I checked, Superman had a weakness. His weakness was kryptonite. So even us as human beings, we have weaknesses. We have so many weaknesses, and if we don't recognize the weaknesses in ourselves, the people around us who recognize that weakness in the inside of us is going to take advantage of that weakness, right? They're going to use it to their advantage and to the best of their ability until we recognize, hey, I'm always pleasing people. I'm always seeking someone's validation. That's when you're gonna wake up to yourself and start walking away from being a people pleaser. We people pleasers also don't want to create conflict, and therefore they are never hey cuz what's up, yes, and because they don't want to create conflict, they don't ever tell they don't ever tell others the truth as it is, because especially if you're dealing with someone who is very narcissistic, I'm telling you, people pleasers will never want to tell them is that true, because these people explode, and they don't want to get that explosion, and so therefore they they don't ever say the full truth to try avoid the conflict, right? People pleasers, as I was talking about, are magnet to narcissistic people, and I understand now why it's so hard for others who are in narcissistic relationship to walk away from these people, because if you're a people pleaser and you're in a relationship with someone who is narcissistic, what's gonna happen is that you're constantly gonna try to please these people to make them change, and they're not gonna change. They're not gonna change. So you're gonna have to make the decision to walk away and suffer the backlash that's gonna come, because it's gonna come. Whether it's in a romantic relationship or it's in a friendship, it's gonna come. A lot of people, when they talk about narcissistic abuse, they talk about it in the sense of romantic relationship, but they never talk about it in the sense of friendship. In the sense of friendship, but narcissistic abuse exists as well in friendship, and I've experienced narcissistic abuse from friends. So trust me, I know, yes, I'm standing my ground. I'm standing my ground. But I've um you just made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, I've experienced narcissistic abuse from friendships as well. So what I'm telling you, being a people pleaser is dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's dangerous to your physical health, and it's dangerous to your mental health as well. How some ways that you can walk away and begin the healing journey is to give yourself grace. A lot of times we beat ourselves up when we look back and we realize, like, hey, I'm in this situation. How am I gonna get out of this situation now? Right? We beat ourselves first, but you can't beat yourself up for something that you didn't know, right? You picked up that people pleasing tendency from childhood, so it's something that you didn't realize was a danger to yourself until you're in the situation. So this is just my little introduction, my reintroduction to the channel of talking about people pleasing. I'm going to be doing more lives about people being a people pleaser and the recovery process. I'm gonna let you into some stories of dealing with people who at the time I didn't realize were very narcissistic, controlling, and they gaslight you. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna dive into to that because a lot of people are in those situations and they don't even realize that they're in those situations. And they're in friendships as well. They're at your workplaces. These people are there and they can spot a people pleaser. I'm telling you, they can spot us out a mile away. They can spot us out a mile away, and that's why it's important to me as a believer to keep myself grounded in the word of God and to trust my gut. That's what the world say. The world call it your gut, but the Bible calls it discernment. When you feel that discernment, you see that red flag, believe it immediately. Don't try to talk yourself out of it and say, oh, you're crazy, are you making up? No. Whatever these people are presenting to you at the initial state, these are just who these people are. And as people pleasers, don't tell yourself, oh, they're gonna change because they are with you. Nope. They're not gonna um they're not gonna change. Yes, I have a new book coming out in May. And I'm gonna be talking about walking away from some of these things. I'm not gonna reveal the name of the book as yet, cause some trying to get me to reveal the name. But yeah, I'm gonna be my new book is coming out in May, so you're gonna be looking forward to that. But my channel right now is dedicated to talking about recovering from people pleasing. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. It's dangerous to your mental health. It's dangerous to your physical well-being. And when you're walking away from being a people pleaser, I'm telling you, your body goes through withdrawals as if to say you are a drug addict. Your body goes through withdrawals, and your mind becomes confused because you're always saying yes, 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 yes to everything. So now you're saying now that you're saying no, your mind doesn't know how to process that information. And so therefore it goes into a state of shock. So I'm gonna be talking about all that on the channel. So stay tuned for all of that goodness that's coming up. So, but this is just my little test live that I'm doing for YouTube. To walk out my own recovery process of not wanting to be on campus. So I'm pushing myself to not wanting to do like this. And it's something like that I never wanted to do, live. I have so much anxiety about going live. This is me pushing myself past my comfort zone for 2023. But I hope you enjoy this small little life for now until I see you for the next one. God bless you. It's important to walk away from people please. Remember that you are enough. You are accepted and you are loved by the greatest person on the face of the earth. And that is God. So I love you, my beautiful butterflies, and I will see you all in the next time. God bless you.